What role in the Middle East, again, does Israel play in this?
Israel was created as the instrument to bring about the Battle of Armageddon and the fulfillment of prophecy, a war that will be so terrible, where nuclear weapons will be used, so that the American citizens and the other people in the world will get down on their knees and beg for no more war. And what is the answer to that? They're going to be told the only way we can guarantee no more war is if we destroy the sovereignty of nations and we come together as one humanity and government.
Right.
Now I'm telling you, unless the American people wake up and stop it, starting in about 1996, the Battle of Armageddon will become a reality.
He laid out the blueprint for everything we're seeing today. He knew why it had to happen, he knew who was behind the curtain, and he knew what we should expect next.
Read the book of Revelations, whether you believe in the book or not, read it, because the men who are bringing this about are using it as their script.
This interview was recorded in 1992, and as you listen, you'll understand why his blueprint still matters today. Because he said it would all unfold exactly like this, down to the smallest detail of the script.
And I get people who still come to me all the time and say, Bill, you're all wrong, it's the Jews. The Jews are subverting the world. Man, it's not the Jews, it's not the Catholics, it's not the blacks. It's these men who belong to the ancient mystery schools, who meet in secret and decide the fate of the world. And they belong to all different races and all different nationalities and all different religions to the public point of view. But in secret, it's a different story.
He claimed the fate of billions rest in the hands of a small group of people. And their strategy, he said, is simple. Keep us watching the circus so we never look behind the curtain.
At the highest levels of all countries, they all belong to the same club. And we, the people, sit back and we watch this grand drama which is being played out for our benefit, not theirs. If it wasn't for us, they wouldn't even have to do any of this. But you see, they just can't come out and destroy all of us because they need slaves. They need people to make their shoes and make their cars and mine the ore. They need worker bees, and that's what we are.
His name is Bill Cooper, and what you're about to hear is his warning to the world. He believed that if you don't spare the time to hear this message to the end, if you don't make the effort to understand it and finally wake up, then you're participating in the great deception just as much as they are. His words, not mine.
George Orwell was just like me. He was a low-level member of British intelligence who was appointed to a position high enough where he saw the same documents that I saw. And he tried to warn the world just like I'm trying to warn the world, only he wasn't willing to take the risk that I'm willing to take, so he wrote it in a book called 1984 and spelled out exactly what's coming as a warning to the people of the world, as a work of fiction. But you notice that that work of fiction really stirred people up because they knew that it wasn't fiction. In their heart of hearts, everyone who's read that book knows that it's coming.
Here's what Orwell understood. Control doesn't happen overnight. First you distract, then you divide, then you rewrite the rules so people don't even know they're being controlled. 1984 showed us the final destination. A world where nothing is true and everything is permitted except for those in power. For decades, that was just fiction. But now, more and more of the pieces are fitting together. The scenarios that were once ridiculed are beginning to look like the morning news.
Why is it that you are here today, or how is it that you are here today and you're not, conveniently taken away and put in a padded cell somewhere so that you can't speak of these things?
I can tell you this, I began to reveal information in 1976, and I was physically attacked on 2 occasions. My skull was caved in, that's what all these scars are here. On the second attack, I lost my leg, they visited me in the hospital. They had no intention of killing me, they were delivering a message to me. Shut up. And that was the message that came through loud and clear. And 2 men who identified themselves with identification cards who belong to the Defense Investigative Service, which is really the Defense Intelligence Agency, asked me if I was going to shut up or they were going to have to do it right. And I told them, I said, you don't have to worry about me. I'm going to be a good little boy for the rest of my life, and yeah, I'm going to shut my mouth. And I did for 16 years, kept silent until I saw this.
You can talk conspiracies all day and people will just ridicule you, call you paranoid. But when you start talking about what you're not supposed to, that's when they come after you. At least that's what Bill said in the full interview. But now, he's starting to say things that really make you pause. Look at the pattern. Why does every piece connect? If it's all just coincidence, why does it keep happening? Listen to this.
Either these men are following the book of Revelation. The book of Revelation is in the Bible. They're either following it, just like a plan, and bringing the prophecies in there to pass to manipulate and control those who believe in those prophecies and neutralize them, so to speak. In other words, if this is written in the Bible and God has ordained it, who am I to resist? It must come to pass, so I'm not going to try to stop it.
Okay.
What a perfect way to neutralize the opposition right off the bat. Or there really is a God, and what he said was going to come to pass is coming to pass. And I named this, Behold a Pale Horse, from chapter 13 of the book of Revelations. The fourth horse, the fourth horseman of the apocalypse is the pale horse. And I looked, and behold a pale horse, and his name that sat upon him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with the beasts of the earth.
Now, look at the four horsemen. Revelation 6 describes white, red, black, and pale. The Greek word for pale is chloros, greenish, the color of death. Some point to the red horse, war, as already writing. The black horse comes next. Famine, collapse. The verse describes inflated prices, scarcity. Some suggest it could be approaching. Revelation 13 describes a world where no one can buy or sell without a mark. Today, central bank digital currencies are rolling out globally. Is it the mark? No one can say. But the technology described? It's being built. Whether you believe it or not, some in power clearly do. Commanders quote Revelation, leaders invoke scripture. Bill Cooper said they're following a script. Look at the pattern. Something is lining up.
Everything that's in my book, Behold a Pale Horse, is everything in here, all the documents that are in here, everything that's in this book is in the public domain.
Can be substantiated?
Yes, and I intentionally wrote this book, not using anything that wasn't available to the public, to show people that yes, if I can find this information, so can you. I have tons of stuff that's not available to the public. But as you can see by reading this book, you don't need that stuff because it's what you need is available to you. Public libraries are overflowing with the proof of what's really going on in the world, but nobody really utilizes it to the extent that they're able to pick this out and put it together. Another thing I've done for people is I've put it together for them so that they can see the overall picture rather than looking at small things and thinking that it's isolated. Nothing is isolated. It's all part of a big puzzle.
Why is it that we can hear something this important and still forget it by tomorrow? Maybe we don't want to believe. Maybe we're scared. But I think it's something else. We're numb. Life grinds us down. Work, stress, the endless scroll, it all adds up. And then we turn on the news, hoping to understand. But instead we get noise, distortion, confusion. And that numbness, it becomes a habit, a survival mechanism. But what if that's exactly what some are counting on?
All the media in this country, radio, television, and print, is all owned by 5 corporations. All of these corporations that own the media are owned and controlled, and members of the Council on Foreign Relations sit on their board of directors. But you can trace that yourself.
Okay.
Remember, if you go down and you trace the ownership of a station or a newspaper and you get to a corporation, remember that somebody owns that corporation, and it's usually another corporation. But when you trace the interlocking of all these things, when you get to the top, there's 5. And all journalists know that there's some things you don't write about and you don't talk about because you'll lose your job. And that's where the control is.
Let's try it, shall we? Pick a news network, any network. Let's start with CNN. On your phone, type, "Who owns CNN?" You'll see it's owned by Warner Brothers Discovery. Good. Now type, "Who owns Warner Brothers Discovery?" In 2026, that's changing. Warner Brothers Discovery just signed a deal to be acquired by Paramount for over $110 billion. Now type, "Who owns Paramount?" Paramount was bought last year by Skydance Media, and Skydance Media is led by David Ellison. Now type, "Who is David Ellison?" He's the son of Larry Ellison, founder of Oracle, one of the richest men in the world. But keep going. Who runs CBS News? CBS is owned by Paramount, and the editor-in-chief of CBS News? Barry Weiss. She was appointed after the Skydance acquisition. Now here's the thing. Cooper said all media is owned by 5 corporations. That was decades ago. Today, the names change, but the pattern doesn't. You start with a news network, you end with a billionaire. And that billionaire, always connected to power. Try it yourself. Pick any network, any platform. Follow the chain, see where it ends. You might be surprised how fast you get to the same place. Let's continue, because this next part is about us.
That's why they pay athletes these fantastic salaries. I was listening to the radio the other day. They just contracted to pay one player on one team $6 million a year. Can you believe this?
And why is that?
It's the Roman circus. What does the emperor do when the people become restive, and when the people are asking questions, and when the people don't like the policies of the emperor? He sends them to the circus. He creates a circus. He builds a giant coliseum. And he begins to throw the Christians to the lions. And he has great chariot races and football games and basketball games, all to keep the idiots preoccupied with things that don't mean anything in the scheme of the entire world, so that they don't have the time to learn what the truth is, so they don't ever get smart enough to learn how they're being manipulated, so they don't ever question the emperor. That's why they pay a player on a football team or a baseball team $1 million or $2 million or $3 million a year. It is the Roman circus. I know men who don't know anything in the world except who plays third base for the Mets, and they think that's a great accomplishment. And they meet and pat each other on the back and bond and go have cocktails and talk about what this guy that plays third base for the Mets did in last night's game. It's sad. It's really sad.
Juvenal, the Roman poet, said it almost 2,000 years ago. The people who once handed out military commands, high offices, everything, now restrains itself and anxiously hopes for just 2 things: bread and circuses. Bread and circuses. Today, the bread is your paycheck. The circus is the game. And while we're glued to the screen cheering for millionaires we've never met, the real decisions are being made somewhere else, by people we'll never see. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. History shows that a society obsessed with entertainment often becomes easier to control. As long as we're watching, we're not asking. As long as we're cheering, we're not challenging. And as long as we're numb, they stay in power.
But let me tell you something. When 150 of the most powerful men and women in the world can meet in secret in Baden-Baden, Germany, and plot the fate of billions, and nobody even cares about it. But 6 football players go to lunch together, and it's in the headlines across the country. You have a reflection of the society in which that exists. And it is a sick, sick society that is doomed to self-destruction.
So based on that scenario, there's some truth into what these men are looking at.
Absolutely, and that's what makes me so sick, is that I'm trying to wake up a people who on a daily basis are proving the ones that I'm warning them about to be right.
Be honest. When was the last Davos meeting? And what exactly was proposed there? Most of us couldn't answer that because we don't care. We have TikTok, we have Instagram, we have Netflix, we have our own lives, bills, work, relationships. Who has time to track what 150 powerful people discuss in a Swiss mountain town? And even if we watch a video about it, we forget it in seconds. The next scroll, the next notification, the next distraction. That's exactly what Cooper was talking about. While we're busy living our lives, decisions that affect our future are being made elsewhere. And most of us are simply too distracted to notice.
The right track is don't believe anybody. Don't believe me. Don't believe George Bush. Don't believe anyone. You got to go out and you got to get proof in your hand before you can believe anything. And to do otherwise today is the biggest mistake that anyone can ever make. You begin believing people, putting your trust in them, that they're telling you the truth. I guarantee you're going to take a ride on a roller coaster you don't want to be on.
Do your own research. Don't jump in the comments and ask, so what do we do now? I'm telling you, use your mind. Because even these videos, they're not here to feed you conspiracy theories. They're here to engage you, to wake something up. Critical thinking is the point. It's better to put your mind to work than to wait for information to be handed to you. Because what if all the information out there is wrong? What then? We have to go back to the roots, back to what we know is good, what we know is wrong. That inner compass, it's still there. We just stopped using it.
Now, do these people recognize the continuity of life? In other words, you have told me earlier that they're after physical immortality.
They believe that through their technology, man will become God. With the power of reason, through technology, man will himself become God. They will engineer, just like he wanted to do, the super race who will live forever. And the concept is the same, and the men behind it are the same as was.
Bill said more than 30 years ago that they would reach for immortality through technology. Back then, it probably sounded absurd. But now, look at what's happening. Neuralink has successfully implanted brain chips in multiple patients. One man used it to play chess just by thinking. Scientists at Harvard and MIT are working on age reversal technologies. Clinical trials are underway for drugs that could add decades to human life. The CEO of OpenAI said recently that we might achieve human-level AI within a few years. And after that, merging human intelligence with machines is the next logical step. Whether you believe that or not, it's hard to ignore that we're moving in that direction faster than anyone predicted.
No matter what your religion is or what you think, they are following the scenario in the book of Revelations to a T, right down to the last little bit. If you want to know what's going to happen in the future, if we don't wake up, and through the power of those, see, not one drop of blood ever has to be spilled, and no one has to ever put any chains on their legs or their arms, ever. If people just wake up and exercise what was given to us in our Constitution, the power of the vote, while we still have that power.
So you say there is still a possibility for like one individual watching this tape to actually make a difference?
You better believe it.
How would that be so?
Well, number one, learn what the truth really is. Get away from the fantasy that you've been living. Educate other people, those you know, your family. Once that begins to happen, it spreads. And then if the people decide that they don't want what they have in store for us planned, just through the power of the vote, they can make this country and the world whatever they want it to be. Whatever they want it to be. And there are no limits on that, except to understand that you can never make everything all right, and you can never make everything all bad. Both must exist, and we must maintain a balance.
If you stayed until now, you're probably one of those who's awake. Or at least, you're willing to be. And that comes with a responsibility. Be responsible with your mind. Use critical thinking. Bill said it himself. Don't believe him. Don't believe us. Believe what you can prove, what you can verify. But you have to do the work. You have to research. You have to stay awake. Because if you stay awake, others around you might wake up too. And that's how things change. Now, Bill has a final message for us. So, whoever has ears to hear, let them hear.
By abdicating responsibility, by not walking in the divine state of grace, makes possible anyone meeting behind closed doors to bring about the world that they want. And the world that they want may not be the world that you want, or that I want, or that these people watching might want.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't participate, you can't complain. If you don't help cook the meal, you got no right to bitch about it. You got to sit down and eat what's put on your plate.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't like that, then you should have been in the kitchen helping to prepare the meal, helping to plan it, helping to prepare it, helping to serve it. If you want to sit on your butt in the living room while somebody else prepares the meal for you and decides what it's going to be and puts it on the table, it's too late to say that's not what you wanted to eat.
Mm-hmm.
It's too late to say it's not cooked the way you wanted it to cook.
Well, that's very simple to understand. And
that's right. You got to eat it because you have to eat to live.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that anybody can understand the meaning behind that little story.
The Great Reset requires the Great Deception. Don't let people FUD you out of the X's, QNT, and HBAR. Let's expand upon the intro you just saw. And if anything, this might be some of my most finest research in quite some time. If I need to earn you a like, I think I definitely will in this one. And in my humble opinion, this may very well be either the biggest coincidence ever or the smoking gun to something that we have been discussing on this channel for quite some time. Let's get into this because it's a massive discovery. So we see this back and forth conversation here. Nima OG says there is no sign of any crypto involvement in X at the moment. I really hope they do, though. At the bottom, Elon Musk on September 18, 2025 points out X-Money is working internally and will start extending to outside beta users soon. Key emphasis, September 18th, 2025. Now watch this. I've shared this document numerous times. It's been driving me crazy. Maybe driving you guys crazy. Do you find it interesting on the same time, September 18th, 2025, that docs.overledger.dev from the Quant Network points this out specifically, these key things. And again, in this way, we will demonstrate on day one how liquidity from public and permission networks can be merged in a simple and secure manner to create a unified token layer. Call what you want. I remember when people like, what's his name, Crypto AI Man pointed out that Elon Musk liked, for example, a particular thing that was shared on Quant. I haven't fully verified that, but we even had people like Miles Braun, they share some of those things like that. So could that very well be true? That's not the point. The point is what you see here. The dates match up. Call it coincidence. Call it whatever you want. And again, I'll say it again. Tech-wise, we have continued our detailed audit analysis and performed significant tests on our unified token concept. This is so major. It really, really, truly is. And again, I pointed this out numerous times. Do it again because there's a new wave of people. And we'll get back into the new research just in case you've never seen this before. It's so important that you see it again. Quant, Besu private network, Euro token is the example. Ethereum compatible private network operated by Quant, designed for enterprise and regulated use. Again, designed by or operated by Quant, designed for enterprise use. And on the right side, allows to be merged into an execution environment with public tokens, ledger agnostic for those future networks. Now watch this. I shared this before. Just to give you a heads up that my research is aging very, very well. July 15th, 2024. What do we have here? The truth. Unveiling X's use of Quant over ledger for payments. And what do you see in the diagram? Let's just go ahead and play it for you could hear it as well. Here we go. Where you have the over ledger through Quant Network. You're connecting to this particular payment rail. There's other ones, like you saw Stripe. Heck, there might even be Zelle for all we know. We actually do know that there's PayPal. And I'll show you guys some of that in the other deep dive. And then, of course, to X. So, yes, and then, of course, to X. I mean, again, think about this for a second. You see here basically the over ledger, payment rails, over to the X, as in formerly Twitter. And we also have XAI, which showed those demonstrations as well. Do you call this a coincidence? I do not. That's just my own personal opinion. You may feel as though that's not enough evidence, call it whatever you want, but that's September 18, 2025 date, the same time Elon Musk talked about X-Money. That is major. Let's get more into the research that you saw from the intro. What we see here is leveraging tokenization for payments, and basically it's from the BIS, and it says here the Innovation and Digital Economy. This is a 26-page document. It's important that we get into this, and here's why. It says tokenization has the potential to reshape the financial system. These are not my statements. This is the Banque for International Settlements, the central bank of central banks. They point out it can have significant implications for payments and financial markets, offering increased efficiency, transparency, and accessibility. In this regard, central banks play a key role in accommodating new technologies. Notice how it says that. And ensuring market equilibrium while also preserving the singleness of money. Quant has pointed out, in collaborations with the Future of Finance, Dominic Hobson's platform on YouTube, this key term of singleness of money. The advantages of tokenization can be exploited in the context of what unified ledgers, integrating central bank money, commercial bank money, and other assets to streamline operations and enhance overall efficiency. And again, try to keep in mind that when we talk about some of these things, it opens up other key things and takeaways. Let's get you over to another BIS document. We see here, basically speaking, the blueprint for the future monetary system, improving the old, enabling the new. Key takeaway, a new type of financial market infrastructure, a unified ledger, could capture the full benefits of tokenization by combining central bank money, tokenized deposits, and tokenized assets on a programmable platform. There's more. As well as improving existing processes through the seamless integration of transactions, a unified ledger could harness programmability. And what is Quant Network looking to do right now in the now? They're going to provide programmable liquidity. This is going to enable arrangements that are currently not practicable, thereby expanding the universe of possible economic outcomes. That's important. And then last part, multiple ledgers, each with specific use case, might coexist, interlinked by application programming interfaces to ensure interoperability as well as promote financial inclusion and a level playing field. This has been pointed out numerous times about this level playing field. I know I sound pretty excited about this because I am. The other thing I want to point out is what matches with Ripple. In the document, page 31 of 34 is a citation of Tony McLaughlin. Jesse shared this numerous times as well. The regulated Internet of Value, Citi Treasury and Trade Solutions. Again, Citi hosted the RLN, Regulated Liability Network, and the RSN, Regulated Settlement Network. Do you find it interesting that they highlight specifically a regulated Internet of Value? I do not find that to be a coincidence at all, especially in this BIS Annual Economic Report for 2023, and here's why. Brad Garlinghouse has pointed out numerous times, and even in tweets, as we continue to build solutions towards enabling an Internet of Value, like it says right there, I'm reminding you, all the XRP sits at the center of everything Ripple does lock in, despite people on YouTube, X, you name it, that are telling you, nope, it's only Ripple, and that they don't care about XRP. That is nonsense. Why would you fight like you never fought before with the SEC to basically not have XRP to sit at the center of everything Ripple does? Give me a break. And more importantly, what about this? Shout to this lady. Wow, you got to give her a follow. She's at Invest with D. Diana has some of the most awesome research I've seen. I'm literally rating this lady up with smoke. She has absolute fire, and she has breaking news. 14 trillion BlackRock signals stablecoins, crypto, and tokenization are the next internet. What about a finternet? You get where we're going with this? In a new message, BlackRock CEO said they have basically entered 2026 with major momentum after reaching a record 14 trillion in assets. The other day I did an outline on BlackRock, right? At the time I knew it was over 10 trillion, so it's 14 trillion now, so they scaled obviously. That's under management, pulling in nearly 700 billion in new client assets in 2025, because obviously 2026 is not even close to being half over yet. BlackRock already hosts about 65 billion in stablecoins and roughly 80 billion in digital investments, showing this is not just talk anymore. Larry Fink says future finance being reshaped by AI, digital assets, and the digital transformation of investing. The question isn't whether change is coming, because it is. I'm sure BlackRock will file XRP ETFs sooner or later. I felt as though that would be the case. Remember, guys, in the interview, I think on CNBC or Fox News or wherever it was, he pointed out, as Larry Fink, he would not confirm or deny an XRP ETF. Tokenization, Ripple Prime. Let's play this. This is under a minute. Listen to this. Larry Fink will be back here shortly. Here we go.
BlackRock, that's the work we focus on every day with our clients around the world. We enter 2026 with strong momentum, delivering record net inflows and reaching a new high of $14 trillion in assets under management in 2025, as clients entrusted us with nearly $700 billion of new assets. Those results reflect on the role we aim to play, helping clients navigate change and investing for the long term. And we believe BlackRock is well positioned for what comes next, at the intersection of the forces reshaping global finance. From the expansion of the capital markets to the evolution of AI and the digital transformation of investing. I remain a long-term optimist. Markets have always moved through periods of uncertainty. The question isn't whether change is coming, because it is. The question is whether more people will have a stake in what comes next. I hope you'll take a few minutes to read the letter, and I hope it sparks a conversation. BlackRock.
All right, moving along, let's get into another key area of another document, and this again is from the Banque for International Settlements. Why do we want to get into this again? Well, basically, as you see here, this is a working paper, number 1178, and boom, the FINTERNET, the financial system for the future. What does FINTERNET stand for? Financial Internet. And this is Monetary Economic Department, April 2024. You'll see how this aged very, very well. As we see here, basically speaking, they highlight this key area. Again, I'm not going to read 44 pages, but I will read this. It's important. Unified ledgers, an important building block of the FINTERNET, are a promising vehicle to turn our vision of an efficient future financial system into reality. These are digital platforms that bring together multiple financial asset markets, such as wholesale tokenized central bank money, tokenized commercial bank deposits, and other tokenized assets, including company shares, corporate or government bonds, and real estate, to name just a few, as executable objects on common programmable platforms. Think about that terminology and think about what I just shared with you when it comes to things like quant network. In doing so, unified ledgers would provide an economic and financial architecture to realize the full potential of tokenization and other novel financial technologies, supported by robust legal and governance arrangements and modern technological underpinnings. Once a ledger asset, or assets, I should say, could be transferred immediately, safely, and securely with less reliance on the external verification processes or messaging systems that make today's financial system so costly, slow, and in some cases unreliable. Grounded on a digital-first approach, think about that, digital first, and leveraging tokenization. Again, what does the overledger do, everybody? It leverages all of these ones that are on blockchain because it's blockchain agnostic, right? Gilbert Verdin pointed this out. So again, leveraging tokenization, unified ledgers would improve existing financial transactions by making them cheaper, faster, and safer. They would also make entirely new financial products and transactions possible. That's major, absolutely major. I encourage you to look more into this document if you want. The citation is bis.org/publ/work 1178.pdf. So you jump more into this, I want you guys to see this. This is from the European Central Bank. As you saw in the intro, you saw who? Christine Lagarde, the head of the European Central Bank. And we see here the Eurosystem's exploratory work on new technology for wholesale central bank settlement. Again, settlement. This is a 78-page document. That doesn't matter. What does matter is what's shared right here. Learning objectives. Page 28 of 78 points out learning objectives of the market as reported by market stakeholders. Look what it says here. Test the interoperability model for wholesale CBDC using Banque de France solution DL3S with a decentralized correspondent banking protocol, assess the feasibility and merit of a unified ledger of, commercial bank money for the banking industry. There's more. Foster banking cooperation, promote interbank contribution on EUR, wholesale CBDC, and digital commercial bank money topic. Such a protocol does not require any central operator, but relies on banks sharing a ledger, notice how it says that, where they each operate their back office module. Again, I'll say again, such a protocol does not require any central operator, right? Because you're using a decentralized protocol. Think about the interledger protocol. Think about XRP on that interledger protocol. Does this not add up? It does. On top of that, we see here from the WEF, yeah, I know, a lot of people don't like us quoting the WEF, but what do they have here? Asset tokenization of financial markets, the next generation of value exchange. Literally, what does that mean? Internet of value, but being exchanged. It's just worded differently, is it not? May 2025. Well, what does the World Economic Forum have? Well, what they have is this. And it's so important that you see this for yourself. On page 2463, it points out, according to the official Monetary Financial Institutions Forum, the OMFIS survey of 26 financial institutions, 65% believe that bonds were the most likely to be tokenized. For example, the European Investment Bank, EIB, issues several bonds on chain, proving the feasibility of tokenization. Since 2021, with its inaugural digital bond issued on Ethereum, the EIB has issued 5 bonds, most recently using HSBC's Orion platform for issuance and Banque de France DL3S platform for settlement. Man, you need to be thinking, well, so what? I can't buy that coin. I can't buy that token. Pump the brakes on that one. Here's why. Because we have, again, and I share this numerous times, I'll keep pounding it home. Société Générale's Forge EUR convertible is now live on Stellar. See how we include Stellar again? Retail users and businesses can now access a secure, transparent, and scalable digital euro stablecoin on Stellar Network. Again, I'll say it again. Stellar is not doing a digital euro, but they're doing the digital euro stablecoin, boom, on Stellar Network. And why is that important? Because, again, Société Générale, the direct partnership with who? Banque de France. So, again, this is major to share that again. All right, more breaking news. Again, just a few minutes ago. Shout out to Diana again. Breaking, SEC officially files 2 new crypto rules for White House review. My goodness. The SEC has officially sent 2 major proposed rules to change the White House for review. Number 1 on digital assets, crypto, and number 2 on hedge funding, private equity disclosures. The crypto rule is reportedly built to go beyond regulation by enforcement and create clear categories for market, including digital securities, digital commodities. Notice how it's commodities, and we know the XRP, XLM, HBAR, numerous other ones, Chainlink, et cetera, are part of that list of commodities. You have stable coins, you have digital tools, and collectibles. It also reportedly includes innovation exemption, startup safe harbor to give early crypto projects room to build without immediate full compliance burdens. The full text is still not public yet because both proposals are under White House review, but there's more to come. And if you want to verify it, it's right here. As you see right here, a little bit of the highlight. Boom, Securities and Exchange Commission, Commodity Futures Trade Commission, application for federal securities laws and certain types of crypto assets. It's all there. Look at it for yourself if you choose to do so. Man, Diana's been doing her thing. Look what she also has. This is a brand new update too. Again, just a few minutes ago. Remember how we just talked about the European Central Bank? This is going to age well. Listen to this. I'm telling you, when you watch my videos, you're brand new. You need to listen from the beginning to the end so you don't miss a single thing. European Central Bank confirms Europe is building a digital asset market. And boom, does it mention XRP? XRP ledger tech already tested inside it. Again, this is aging well. European Central Bank has confirmed it wants, quote, an integrated European market for digital assets with a safe central bank money as the backbone of the crypto system. That means Europe is moving tokenized bonds and securities closer to the heart of its traditional financial system. Even bigger, one of the 2024 pilots tied to that framework was run by Axiology, which was used as a private system built on the open source code of, boom, the XRP ledger. It means a system already tested inside Europe's new tokenized finance push was built on XRP ledger technology. The least I can do is share this. I'm going to bookmark this and share it with everybody. Probably wonder why you retweeting that. Can you blame me? I'm literally going back and I'm sharing all this because it's so crazy to see all this unfold literally before our very, very eyes. So let's get more into this. We see here basically that you have the documentation. Okay, so let's pull this up. Let's share it. I love how she has real documents. Kind of reminds me of how Smoke does things. Keynote speech by Piero Cipriglione, member of the executive board of the ECB at an event, quote, building Europe's integrated digital asset ecosystem, from vision to implementation, hosted by the House of the Euro. March 23rd, 2026. Technically, that is today. That's major. And tokenization is the process of issuing or representing assets in the form of digital tokens, which are typically recorded on DLT networks. In this bottom part, with the Markets and Crypto Assets Regulation, MiCA, and the DLT pilot regime, it is among the first jurisdictions to establish a continent-wide framework for tokenized assets. Man, oh man. And here's the last part of what she has on the document. We see here basically the flowchart of use cases. And you see here basically how it all comes together. Bank A, Bank B, et cetera, et cetera. But when we get over to the right side, let's pull it up. Does it mention anything about XRP? As the saying goes, boil it, mash it, stick it in a stew. It says right here on number 3, Node sends asset amount from issuer's operational wallet to create an escrow wallet, which uses XRP payment transaction. There you go. Great research from Diana. All right, one last thing. I did put in some Hedera in the thumbnail. Just in case you missed some of my research before, is Hedera involved with the Digital Euro? Yes. Digital Euro Association points out Digital Euro Association partnered with the HBAR Foundation. So there you go. All receipts provided yet again. Do me a solid if you happen to listen to the entire outline and simply type in this key phrase into the comments, and that is the Great Reset, because apparently it's unfolding. I really truly believe it is. It doesn't mean you're going to be rich overnight, tomorrow, or anything like that, but we could put 2 and 2 together and realize it's important that we take the deep dives, research together, share it with friends, families, etc., etc. Again, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to flood you out of this. Compare my research with their research and say who is providing you the real research. And if anything, pray for some of those people. I do pray for some of them. There you guys have it. Saying goes, know what you have, know why you hold it. The research trumps FUD 110%. May the Lord Jesus bless you all, and even some of our people that are against us. We'll see you guys in the next video. Over and out. Bye-bye.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
I have many friends that are earning every single day trading futures on BTCC. It's a simple process, and even if you don't want to learn how to trade, you could follow a trader on the site and let him do the trading for you. And again, I'm not trying to have any of you guys use your hard-earned money to lose anything. You don't know what you're doing? Don't jump into this, but there is money to be made, and don't use your nest egg for leverage trading. Use a separate portfolio. But I suggest learn how to trade. Earn you some extra money on BTCC. It's easy. You don't have to KYC, and you don't have to use a virtual private network VPN. This is a wonderful site. They've been around since 2011. Give them a shot. Also, when you earn that extra money, you can store that on your Decent wallet. The Decent wallet was not affected by the XRPL debacle, where the backdoor of many wallets was open and there was a breach. So Decent wallet was not affected by that. Decent wallet is as safe as you keep your seed phrase. It's a wonderful product, and you can get the discount by using the link. It's the only way to get the affiliate discount, and that is to use an affiliate link. So that link is popping up on the upper right side of your screen, and it is the one that you will use. You will also get free shipping. Pick you up a Decent wallet today. Secure your assets. If you don't have them stored in a wallet and sitting on an exchange, then you're at risk. So pick you one up today. Thank you.